This video's information is being provided for informational, educational, and general interest purposes only. The information in this video is not intended to shock, enrage, or otherwise provoke the viewer. The sole purpose of this video was to raise awareness of true crime-related events. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Cause number 154-6111, the state of Texas versus Antonio Armstrong Jr. We, the jury, find the defendant, Antonio Armstrong Jr., guilty of capital murder as charged in the indictment. It's signed the foreperson of the jury. What's your emergency?
Houston 911, do you need medical, police, or fire?
I'm going to be police. He's whispering, advising he just heard gunshots in the parents' room.
Is this a house?
Yes.
And your name?
AJ?
Any medical attention needed?
I heard gunshots, so I don't really know.
In your parents' bedroom?
Yes. How did you get into my house?
He was whispering. He was very quiet, concerned somebody may still be in the house.
Okay, police are on their way.
My daughter Olivia got the phone call. She said we had to go to Antonio and Don's home, that there were shots.
When AJ called, I could hear it in his voice. He was afraid, he was hysterical.
He said there's been some gunshots and, somebody was here. They were in the house. I didn't know what to think.
The police immediately go through the house to secure the house and make sure there's no one else in the house.
As they are going through the house, they're not sure what they have. Someone could be jumping out at any moment.
The officers found out very quickly that they showed up to a house that was locked. The windows are all closed, the blinds are all down, the locks are all in place, and there's no forced entry.
Dawn and Antonio are upstairs in their bed, and when the police went in there and the paramedics, they believed that Dawn had been shot twice in the head and was deceased, and Antonio had been shot once in the head and he was alive but in critical condition.
They had pillows over the tops of their heads. It appears that they were placed on after the fact. What's kind of odd, I don't know why you would shoot someone and then place pillows over their head.
A couple small things. Oh, yeah. All right, today's date is July 29th, 2016. It is 7:47 a.m. The case number is 968-487-16. My name is Sergeant Dagnall. I'm here with the Houston Police Department. This is
Jimmy Dodson.
I think you've already talked to him. I talked to you. Okay, and just a little bit of information for you. What's your first name?
Antonio.
A-N?
T-O-N-I-O.
Okay, what's your middle name?
Donnell.
D-O? Just one L?
Yeah, no, two L's, I think.
Two L's? Okay.
This is sad.
What's your last name's Armstrong?
Yes, sir.
Common spelling. And what's your date of birth?
11/16/1999.
So you're 16?
Yes, sir.
Are you a junior or anything?
Yes, I'm a junior.
Yes. Okay. 11th grade. What school do you go to? Or what school were you attending?
I transferred from Kincaid, now I'm going to Lamar.
Okay, so the 10th grade you did Kincaid.
I went to Kincaid, yes, sir.
Okay, 10th grade Kincaid, and the 11th grade you're going to go to Lamar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any summer school or anything like that? No summer sports or anything like that?
I've just been playing. At Lamar, at Kincaid too. We have summer workouts, so that's basically what I've been doing. Just 9 to 11 every day.
Okay. Well, I mean, ultimately we're here. We got to, we need to sit down and talk to you, figure what happened today, what's been going on. How was your relationship with your parents in general?
it was a pretty good relationship.
Okay, you get along with your mom, get along with dad, no problems, no
me and
issues.
dad were like really close. And then me and my mom, like me, my brother, and my sister like had our like little issues with my mom, but it was never anything like serious. Like it was just like family stuff. But we were all like really close, so it's like a.
And what about dad?
Dad was like the go-to for everything. So.
Any recent problems, any issues between you and him or anything like that?
No. Like my dad's a pretty like chill guy. Likes to just talk things out. So any problem that we did have, we just talked about it.
Okay. And it's just in the house. It's you, your mom,
my dad, and my little sister.
Your little sister.
Right.
Do you know what your dad's date of birth is?
I know he was born October 15th. I know my mom was born in 1974, so I think it may be 74, because I know he's 42.
What about your mom's birth? What about her day and month?
My mom's birthday is February 17th, 1974.
Okay, so it's 2/17/74.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what's mom's name?
Don Armstrong.
Okay, and dad's your...
Antonio.
Yeah, because you're junior, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then what's your sister's name?
Kayra Armstrong.
K-A-Y-R-A?
Yeah.
Okay. And she's 12. And now you have an older brother that doesn't live there?
No, he does not. He just moved. He was going to Berlin, and he just moved back like 3 weeks ago. He's going to the Art Institute now, and he lives in those apartments. Like our house is here, and when you come out and make that left on Maple Ridge, he lives in those apartment complexes right there.
Okay, so right around the corner.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Okay, right around the corner.
House, yeah.
Now, how is his relationship with everybody in the family?
I mean, he's really like me. Him and my dad are like a really close group. Like we sit down and talk a lot, and then him and my mom are like identical people. Like their personalities are the same, so they're close. And then me and him are just like have a really close brother relationship. And then my little sister like loves him.
Okay. And you said he was off to Blinn. He just recently moved
Yes.
back. Is he staying back or is he?
He's staying. He's
okay.
staying, yeah.
Oh, you said he transferred schools.
Yes.
Okay. So we got to get down to what what kind of happened today. What we got questions. We got things we got to discuss. There's some of them they're not easy, but I mean it's tough questions for us to ask and it's tough questions for you to answer. So. That being said, I mean, how did today kind of start? I mean, starting out in the morning. Yeah, from the morning. What time did you get up?
So it was Friday. I didn't wake up. I don't know until like 10, 11 o'clock, and I stayed in my room all day and just watched Netflix. My parents were like gone, like they were in and out of the house. My dad works from home a lot now, ever since he hurt his knee, so he's just been working at home a lot. And my mom's just in and out. She was mainly at our Bel Air gym like the whole day. And then she came back, and it was like she came back around 5, and it was me, my dad, and her. And then my mom and dad got dressed, and they went to one of my dad's friends' events that he had. So they were gone till like 8. And then when they got back, I went to go pick up my little sister from my grandmother's house, and we came back. We got back to the house at like 9 or 10, and then my little sister, I think she went straight to bed. My parents were laying in their bed. I don't know what they were doing. And I was just upstairs just watching Netflix still. And then it was like probably 1 or 2 and I was still up. And I was like, I turned off my TV. I was getting ready to go to bed and I went to the restroom. And when I came out, I heard the door open. And I haven't been feeling well like this whole day. So I've just been at home. And I thought it was my parents. So I like walked downstairs. So I was going to ask if I can get some medicine. And, like, as I was walking downstairs, that's when I heard the 2 gunshots go off. And I ran back upstairs. And then when I ran back upstairs, I heard somebody run out of my parents' room and, like, hit the door. And then I don't know how they got out. I don't know which. Because if they would have went out one of the doors, our alarm would have went off. So, like, my only guess is they had to have gone through a window. Because those don't go off with our alarm system. Like, it's not, like, connected. And after I ran back upstairs, I went into my closet. And that's when I called 911. And, like, I had the phone call. And when the cops showed up, the lady told me to go downstairs. And I was like, I have a little sister here. I need to get her. And I went to my sister's room. I woke her up. And then me and her both walked downstairs, like, let the cops know that it's not like it's just us. Like, we're not armed or anything like that. And they walked us outside. And that's when I called my brother because he lives, like, right up the street. And him and my cousin, they both showed up. And I explained.
Who's your cousin?
Trenton.
Trenton?
Trenton.
Okay, Trenton. Okay, and he's your cousin?
Yes.
And on whose side? Mom's or dad's?
Dad's.
Okay. What's his last name? Do you guys
Teamer. I don't know his full name. I know his last name is Teamer, though.
Teamer?
Teamer.
Oh, okay. Like team, but you are. Okay. And he showed up with your brother.
Yeah, because him and my brother are, like, super close, so they stay, like, sometimes they'll stay at his house after he's done with work or something like that. And they both showed up, and then after they showed up, my brother, like, ran over because he was confused, like, he didn't understand my phone call, like, he thought it was a joke or something. So when he showed up, he didn't understand what was happening. The cops were trying to just, like, understand, like, what just happened. They were trying to talk to me separately and also talk to my sister. And I told him, I was like, my sister was asleep. She has, like, no idea what happened. I just went down there and woke her up. And then I explained to the cop, like, what I saw. And, like, I just, like, personally felt bad because, like, I saw the guy. Like, I feel like I should have done something. But, I mean.
Well, did you physically see somebody? Or?
No, like, I saw him running. Like, I saw him running.
Okay, but then you would have seen him go out a window or out a door or something?
No, because when, like, you've been into the house, so it's like my parents' room's here, and then you'd have, like, it's when you come out of my parents' room, you go this way, and, like, this window, it's impossible. Like, that window's impossible to get out of.
Second floor, too.
Yeah, it's second floor. So either he would have had to have gone, like, this way, and then gone over there by my sister's room, or he'd have to gone downstairs and out through one of the first floor windows.
Okay. Okay, and then you said you were upstairs and you heard a door.
Right.
Which door?
My parents' first door.
The first door in their room.
Because normally my parents...
Which goes into the study.
Yes.
Okay.
My parents, like, keep their doors locked at night, and they, like, we're not, like, in there or allowed in there at night. So, like, when I heard the door open, like, normally it's, like, my dad or my mom getting up to, like, go get a snack or something, go get water. And, like, that's what I thought it was. So when I went down there, I was, like, really confused when I heard the gunshots.
So when you hear the door, how long was it from the time you heard the door to the time you started going down the stairs?
When I heard the door, that's when I started walking downstairs.
Okay, so you already go.
Yeah, I was already leaving my bath. Have you been in my room?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was already leaving my bathroom, and that's when I heard the door, so I just kept making my way.
Your bed's there, so you go around your bed.
Yeah, I went around my bed, and then I was making my way down the stairs, and that's when I heard the gunshots, when I got, like, 4 or 5 stairs down, and I, like, looked.
Do you know how many you heard? How many you heard?
I mean, I think I heard 2, but it may have been 3. I'm not really, like 100% positive, but, like, I know it's 2 or 3, and then that's when I came down, and I, like, kind of looked, because you know how, like, it has it goes down, like, you can peep real quick and see, like, what's, like, going on from my stairs. And, like, I saw someone, like, coming out, so I just took off back upstairs and went straight to my closet, and that's when I called.
Okay, so when you see them, you only seen them coming out of the room?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how long, did you stay there the whole time?
In the closet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in my closet the whole time with the door shut.
Okay, and then they run out. Did you hear any chimes or anything else?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Now, the person that you seen, I mean, what did he look like?
I mean,
is it he or she? Or?
It was definitely a guy. It wasn't a girl. There wasn't, like, long hair or anything like that. I mean, they had it was like a mask, and, like, you could only see the eyes and the mouth, but he looked like a black guy, but I'm not, like, 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure it was an African American, and, like, I'd say, like, 6 feet, maybe, somewhere around there. I couldn't give you, like, an age range. I didn't really, like, get to see his face or anything like that.
And then from there, you stayed in there until you actually came out?
Yeah, until the lady on the phone was like, yeah, you can come outside, the cops are there.
Okay.
So that's when I went and got my sister, and then we both walked downstairs.
Okay. Now, that being said, you know, there's certain things that, you know, that we also know and have.
Right.
Does your dad own a gun?
Yes, he does.
How many guns does he own?
He owns 1.
One gun? Do you know what kind of gun it is?
I just know it's like a pistol. I think it's a 22, but I'm not, like, 100% positive. Like, only time I've ever, like, used it was when we went to the gun range when I was, like, 8 years old or something like that. But, like, that's about it. And I know he has his case in one of his drawers, and, like, my dad, his drawers, the closet, and under the bed is, like, off limits. So, like, I've never gone in there or, like, seen it or anything like that, except for when he brings it out. So, like, I don't know where he was keeping the gun at the time, but I know he keeps it in one of those 3 places.
Okay. So possibly a case in the drawer or somewhere in the closet.
Right.
Okay, and that's where he keeps it. 22. You think it's a 22?
I think it's a 22.
What color is it?
Black.
Black. Is it a revolver, automatic? You know the difference between the two? Revolver, they have the cylinder that turns.
Oh, it's not a revolver. Then it's definitely
like a clip that goes in it.
Yeah, a clip that goes in it, and then, like, you, like, flick the safety, and then you fire.
Okay. And you said it's black. Do you know what brand it is or anything like that?
I have no clue.
No clue. Okay. Okay. Ultimately, you know, you know there's something bad happened.
Right.
But ultimately, you know, we got to kind of get to it because, you know, I hear everything you're saying.
Right.
And ultimately, you know, there are some issues. and I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you there was some issues, and we kind of got to go over and kind of get to the bottom of what's going on.
Exactly.
Ultimately, you're out there, they swabbed your hand.
Right.
So ultimately, if you fired a gun, even if you wash your hands, it's going to show. It's going to show.
Right.
So if there was something more, something different that happened, this is kind of the time to talk about it. Regardless of what your relationship was with your dad, if it's good or if it's not so good, and, and you just don't feel comfortable talking about it, that's a whole separate issue.
Right.
Ultimately, we need to figure out what's going to happen, what happened today.
Exactly.
And there's two ways. I mean, it's going to be either, you telling us exactly what happened, and if this is what it is, then that's what it is. But
right.
ultimately, if it's something different, it's you telling us what happened, and then ultimately everything would match up. If you didn't fire a gun, there wouldn't be any gunshot residue on your hands, and all this stuff would start matching up. But when you start having inconsistencies, it starts making it tough. And then ultimately, this is kind of the time to discuss it and get it out. It's if you're familiar, a man is only good as his word.
Right.
So ultimately, if you're here and you're telling us this is what happened, this is my word, I'm not lying, I'm telling the truth, and then then things start coming up down the road, like a kid coming back saying that this had happened or that happened. Then when we sit down, it's a different conversation.
Exactly.
And at that time, you really can't go back and say, well, this is what happened, because now we're at a loss of trust.
Right.
And again, we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things that we know, and we want to hear your side of it before we start kind of getting into that, so you understand. So again, if there's something different, this is the time. Hey, we're at the police department, bad things have happened, and ultimately this is kind of the time to talk about it.
Exactly.
Not later, not another time, because I mean, if anything, it's for them. This is. They don't have a word in this at this point in time, okay? Last we heard, your dad is still in the hospital. Your mom didn't make it, okay? So it's a bad thing. So you understand the seriousness of this, okay? So that's why we need to know what happened. Gunshot residue. Like I said, even if you wash your hand in that close proximity, okay? So that being said, is there anything different?
Nothing different.
Okay.
That's the story.
Okay. Now, ultimately, when we're in the study that leads to your dad's room,
right?
In there, when you look up, there's a bullet hole in the ceiling that comes from the loft, which is your bedroom.
Bullet hole in the ceiling.
It comes through the floor from the loft, from your room upstairs.
Yeah.
Where your room is.
The third floor.
Yeah.
There's a bullet hole in the ceiling.
There's a bullet hole in the study area that goes through, and you can see that it comes through because it pushes out in the study area.
I've never seen that.
They use a trajectory rod too.
Yeah, and they use the trajectory. They have the rod. They use a rod. They put it in there, see what the angle is.
Right.
And then on the floor, there's an actual bullet that was actually fired.
How long has that been there?
Well, that's why we're talking to you, because there's fresh sheetrock on the floor.
Right.
So, and that's kind of what we're getting at. There's things out there that we're trying to figure out how this has happened. If there's 2 gunshots or 4 gunshots,
right?
How do we have one that's coming from the room upstairs, and then we've got other ones in there?
I can explain the gun from the room upstairs. It was like 2, 3. It was like, I think it was 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. Like me and one of my friends was just like playing around, and they were about to leave, and he was like, hey. Well, not really. He was like me. I was like, hey, have you ever shot a gun before? And they were like, nah, I've never done it. And I was like, do you want me to show you how to? And I went and checked the 3 places, and the gun was under my dad's bed. And I laid the pillow. I laid my pillow, and then a blanket over it and a blanket under it, thinking that would stop it. But I guess it did not stop it.
Yeah. Now, see, and that kind of goes back to what we were saying just a minute ago. Because a few minutes ago you said that you haven't seen it, you haven't shot it since you were a kid, and then now we kind of give you a little more, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute. So,
I understand.
We don't want to keep getting deeper into this, because there's more. I mean, that's the thing is, and ultimately, if the gun was fired tonight, again, the GSR test is going to show it.
Exactly.
So to say that you didn't, or it was fired.
I didn't fire it tonight.
No.
Last time I fired it was 2-3 weeks ago, and apparently I put a. I guess my parents just never saw that. Because that was a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
But ultimately, that's what I'm saying. Is even if you wash your hands, whatever you have, it's still going to show.
Right.
Okay, so that's why I'm saying is, last
something from like 3 weeks ago, you think?
No.
Oh,
you fired the gun tonight.
Oh,
Whether it's up in the room, whether it's in, it's going to show that's there.
Exactly.
Ultimately, or let's just say there was somebody else in the house with you. If that's the case, we need to know. Somebody we need to talk to. But again, we've already went to hey, I haven't seen it, I haven't fired it since I was little, and I don't know where he keeps it. We don't go there; it's off limits, so I don't go in there. Okay, I went in there. We were up there and we fired a gun, and we put the towel, we put the blanket, and all that stuff. So you kind of see where we're going.
And that's like the only like.
No, I know, but
I understand where you're coming from.
I just don't want it to be where like, wow, and now there's gunshot residue on his hands or on his clothing.
There won't be any gunshot residue on my hand or anything like that,
or something like that.
Right.
Or let's say Dad makes it, and Dad's able to say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what happened.
Right.
It's just anything can happen at this point.
I understand.
But that's I mean, there's actual flakes on the ground from where the bullet went through. So It's not like it's just a hole and it could have been done. We even found the bullet that was fired.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those things where it kind of show more recently, like we happen to see it.
Yeah. I don't know how my parents haven't seen that. Because they go in and out of that room a lot. So I don't know how you don't see a bullet on the ground.
Yeah.
But outside of that, 2-3 weeks, I've never touched my dad. Last night, I didn't touch my dad's gun.
Yeah. Okay. And ultimately, the gun is still in the house.
Right.
Okay. So it's on the kitchen counter. So it's one of those things where if somebody's running out of the house, there's no time to
put it on the kitchen counter.
Put it on the counter, and there's even a little paper where there's some scribbling on it. So there's not really a lot of time if you're running out of the house, jumping out of a window to go put the gun there and then write a note. So you see, that's why when you say, hey, he ran out, jumped out of a window, he didn't go out of a door, because if he doesn't know you're there or whatever it might be.
I'm assuming that's what I was on the third floor. I don't know what happened.
Well, the doors were all locked.
Right,
even when we got there, the doors were locked. You had to unlock the door to come out.
My dad locked all the doors.
You had to unlock the door to get out. The back door's locked. Everything's locked.
Right.
So if somebody's in the house, it's just you and your sister, where are they at?
Exactly.
And if they're running out and they're jumping out of a window, I mean, there's no blinds messed up. There's nothing that shows somebody went out of a window. And the gun is placed on the counter with a paper and a pen with some scribbling. There's the time.
I understand.
If you're rushing out.
Doesn't seem
so,
right.
I mean, that's one of those.
I don't know exactly what happened from the time when he came out of the room to when he left, because as soon as I saw him, I was gone upstairs. So I don't know exactly what happened with him. I'm just saying I'm assuming that's how he got out, because I don't know any other way to get out of our house. Mm-hmm. And I know I didn't personally touch the gun. I know there's no gun residue on my hand or on my clothes or anything like that. So I know it has nothing to do with me. I just don't understand. I don't understand how he got out or even how he got in.
Yeah.
Did you deactivate the alarm before you unlocked the door for the officers?
Yes.
Okay. And you see, and that's kind of where we're at, that dilemma where, it's a lot of there's several things that aren't lining up,
right?
And then we already kind of started off on a note where, there's I've never touched it to this. So, I mean, these are some serious issues to get around. I mean, you got somebody running out. If you're going up the stairs and you hear a gunshot, you run out. It's stairs. They're going to hear somebody running. They're going to hear. They're not going to not hear you. So there's not going to be nobody knows I'm here and I got time to do this and do that. And the scribbling on the paper didn't take just a second. And all that stuff it's able to be matched. Exactly. Handwriting, the way people write, the angles and stuff like that. So if let's say it was you that wrote it, they're going to be able to take some form of writing from you somewhere and say, wow, that's the way he writes this letter or that letter, so there's things there. And ultimately, the last thing I want to happen is for all this stuff to come out and confirm that there was something more to happen. And then you try to come in and explain, hey, look, me and Dad had a blowout. This is what was going on. I lost my cool. And this is how it played out. There's a time in your life, even at 16, when you have to man up and accept responsibility for doing something wrong, losing your cool, whatever it is, okay? and we're kind of at that point now where there's quite a few inconsistencies that we're having trouble getting around. And hey, I can't imagine somebody firing around, jumping out of a window, leaving a gun in a certain spot, writing a note, all in this short amount of time.
Exactly.
And then not having a plausible way to exit the house.
Right.
So all of that kind of makes me think that it had to have been somebody within the house. In the house, it's you, your mom, your dad, and your sister.
Right.
And sister's sleeping, you're awake. Mom and dad are sleeping.
It does not look good at all.
And there's a bullet hole in the roof from your room.
Right.
So it shows that you've had access to the gun in the past, or have access to it, period. Like, where it's at.
Right.
If dad doesn't check every day to see if his gun's there, you could have it, he wouldn't know it.
Exactly.
Or if you went in there and he was a sound sleeper and were able to get the gun, it changes things. But like I said, this is kind of the time to clear it up. I mean, they don't have a voice in this. Maybe dad will. But ultimately, the last thing you want is for so much to come out later, and then you want to explain. You want to say, hey, look, this is what happened. This is from me. This is how I feel. This is how I was feeling at that time. But the longer you let it go on, it gets worse. And then it also looks like, did you just not care? It's just, there's a lot of things there. Things can go bad. You can care about somebody and just lose control and have some problems or issues, and things get out of control, and then something happens.
Right.
But if that's the case, we want to know what happened. What were you thinking? What was going on? What led up to it? Because, hey, you got a sister. She deserves to know what happened.
Exactly.
You got an older brother. Your dad's got a mom. Mom's got a mom. Mom's got a dad. Dad's got a dad. Everybody wants to know what happened. And ultimately, the people in the house are the only ones that can clear that up. And like I said, there comes a time in your life where you got to man up, and if you made a mistake. And I'm telling you like this because I feel like something more has happened. I'd be lying to you, and I'm not trying to lie to you and tell you that I don't feel that more has happened, that there might be something going on. And I know this is a scary situation. You're brought in front of a judge. You're given, your warning, and you're brought here to a police station, and yet you're here, and we're talking to you. I know it's a tough situation, and I understand if you're also somewhat scared. But hey, what's done is done. And at this point, we have to know what happened. And I honestly don't buy that somebody was able to rush out the house, place a gun, write a note. If it wasn't something where you were involved, then you know who is, and they were in the house, and you know it.
Right.
But ultimately, if that's the case, we need to know, because we need to talk to that person. And if it wasn't, then we need to know, because if we talk to that person and they weren't there, then they're gonna tell us what happened.
Right.
But like I said, I'd be lying if I didn't say that I feel like something more has happened. Okay, and again, I don't want to have the scenarios where here I am in a couple of weeks saying, Antonio, this happened, that happened. This, your phone. We have your phone, your messages, text messages, whatever, between you and dad, showing that you were mad at him or something like that. Or we talk to a family member that says, yeah, him and dad hasn't been getting along very good, and you're sitting here saying, hey, everything's great. That's all part of the way we investigate things. That's how we get to the bottom of things, is by using our resources.
All right, so I can tell you now, there's like nothing that will come back that it's on me. There will be no gunpowder. There's my fingerprints on, nothing like that will come back on me. I had nothing to do with this.
Okay. Now, but you understand where I'm coming from.
I understand where you're coming from. Because when I explained it to my brother, he thought the exact same thing. So he thought there was something, like there's something missing. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. So was there anybody else in the house with you?
It was just me. Unless somebody was in the house when me, my parents, and my little sister all weren't there, and they were just there the whole time. That's like outside.
How would they have gotten out of the house without?
I don't see. Yeah, I don't know.
There's no way out of the house. There was no disturbed windows. All the windows were closed.
All right.
The alarm's set.
I mean, it's almost like the person would have to still be in the house.
All right.
And we cleared the whole house.
And we went through the whole house, even in the attic, closet, and all that stuff. So, I mean, and then you have, like, the note written there, and it's just... So, I mean, we have all that stuff, and it's kind of like, well, you know, what happened? And, I mean, ultimately, it points to somebody in the house. And there's no way for, you know, mom to have done it or dad to have done it and to have the gun downstairs.
Yeah.
So it means it had to have been somebody other than them.
Right.
And sister was sleeping.
Exactly.
I mean, and we've even swabbed her hands for gunshot residue to see if there's any chance where she might, you know, have fired a gun, and then we'll know. And then ultimately we have a bullet hole that shows that you've been handling the gun.
I can think when you guys checked the gunshot residue from last night from me and my sister, both of us won't have any. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Now you also have clothes up there and all that stuff. I mean, ultimately it could show up on clothes. It could show up on a lot of things. So I mean, it's not just limited to your hands.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where, you know, if somebody's wearing a glove, it doesn't mean it's not on a shirt or it's not on something else.
Right.
You know, that's at the house. You know, so there's things there.
Right.
You know. So again, I mean, if there's a remote chance, it's gonna show. You know.
There's no chance. It like points back to me in any way.
So was there somebody else in the house? I mean, literally, you have to.
I don't personally understand it either, because I know, like, personally with me, I had nothing to do with it, so it doesn't make sense to me either.
And then to kind of forward to 911. I mean, I called our dispatcher, and I asked, you know, hey, we need to listen to the tape where you called 911.
Right.
And about 7 minutes into it, you said this is your fault. Like this is your fault. So I mean, something like that.
No, this is my fault was at the point where, like, when I saw and I didn't do anything about it. That's what I was saying. Because when I came outside...
Well, you said it's all my fault. It's all my fault.
Well, I mean, I felt like I could have done something.
Yeah, but that's a little bit different than it's all my fault.
That's the exact same thing I said when I walked outside to the police.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to give you just as much as I can to let you understand how serious it is and how many inconsistencies. It's not like we have just one.
Right.
Or two, you know, or three, but there's some inconsistencies. And, you know, again, you know, between somebody not being able to leave the house, you know, 911, you know.
I understand. But it has nothing to do with me. Like, I promise when you get the results back from whatever, like, y'all doing, it has nothing to do with me.
Let me ask you this then, Antonio. You keep saying it doesn't have anything to do with me, and you're positive you're not going to have any gunshot residue on you. Do you know who has something to do with it?
No.
You don't have any idea?
I don't have any idea. I have no idea who would want my parents dead. Like,
okay.
My parents don't have enemies or anything like that. Like, my parents are pretty well-liked people.
Mm-hmm. So then, because part of our job is we've got to think kind of on both sides of the fence. We got to think like police officers. We got to think like criminals. We got to think like husbands and fathers.
Right.
You know. So let me ask you this: if I'm a criminal
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to come into your home and I'm going to shoot two people, but I'm not only going to do it, but I'm going to do it with the gun that the owner of the home owns.
Right.
Okay. So I've got to have intimate knowledge of where that gun is stored because your dad's a big guy.
Right.
I'm not tiptoeing around that house with an ex-Miami Dolphin football player potentially waking up and coming and putting the beat down on me. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
I'm not an idiot. Most criminals, while yes, they can be, they're not idiots when it comes to that kind of thing. They know how to avoid a butt whooping. Secondly, I'm going to get into a house that's got an alarm system turned on, all doors secured with deadbolt locks, okay, without anybody knowing or without setting alarm off. We're going to be able to subpoena the alarm company just to double check and verify that no alarms went off during the course of time that these events occurred. We're going to be able to identify when you set the alarm and when the alarm was deactivated, so we'll know that time frame as well. No windows are disturbed in the home.
Right.
No screens, no blinds, no nothing. Really nothing in the home is disturbed outside of what happened in your parents' bedroom and in the kitchen. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the kitchen's not disturbed, just a couple of drawers were open. That's it.
Right.
Because we're writing, like he was saying, the note and the gun and all that. So you've got these three pretty personal kind of things that someone has to know to be able to get into your home unnoticed, find your dad's gun, not even bring their own, which most criminals bring their own because you don't go into someone's house with the intent to harm them and then start looking for weapons. And if you do, it's usually a kitchen knife. You're not going to go looking for, you're not going to go, mulling around for a gun. So you've got these three things laying out in front of you. As a criminal, how do you accomplish that?
I have no clue.
You don't. They're impossible, right? I mean, I don't care if your parents are the hardest sleepers in the world. Someone rifling around in your dad's nightstand, which is right next to where he's sleeping,
bed or in the closet,
exactly
where he's facing. We know which way your dad was sleeping. You're sleeping on his left side, facing the wall, which is right where that gun's gonna be. So if I'm in there rifling around, you think daddy's gonna wake up and whoop someone's behind?
He will.
He will, right? You think mama's gonna wake up? I mean, mamas are light sleepers usually because they're always worried about their babies. I got a 7-week-old at home. My wife, man, if you blink an eye, she wakes up right now. That's what mamas do, okay? So I've got two parents in a room where a gun is kept. I've got you telling me that. Your sisters told me that's where the gun's kept, so we know this.
Exactly.
So how does a bad guy get in and get the gun?
I don't know. Honestly.
I mean, did your sister do this?
No.
Is it on Kyra? Is that what it's on?
No. I wish I had it how this happened or what exactly. I can't. I don't.
Antonio, here's the deal, man. I can't let you get away with that. I can't.
I
know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, just being man to man here. There's 4 people in the house. The house is completely secured with locks and with an alarm system. Most of your other family members don't even know your parents own a weapon, which means that's very intimate knowledge that your dad doesn't go out there spreading around with people. If he's not telling his family members, he's not just telling strangers on the street corner that he's got a gun.
Exactly.
And at that, obviously he's not a big gun advocate. He's got one pistol and it's a .22. Gun advocates are going to have things like 40s and 45s, and so he's got one gun, and he's not going to tell the whole world about it. So really only 5 people in the world know about it. Your mom, your dad, you, your brother, and your sister. Your brother Josh isn't even there. He's down the street at his place.
Right.
Okay? I've talked to his girlfriend. He was there with her at the time of this, so I've not marked him off my list. I know Mama didn't do it, obviously, unfortunately.
Right.
I know Daddy didn't do it because there's no blood trail from the bedroom to where the gun is.
Right.
It's clean. Scott clean. So that only leaves you and your sister. No one else got in that house tonight, Antonio. No one else got in that house, man. I mean, I don't... Did Casper come in and do it?
No, because I don't... Because I know it has absolutely, nothing to do... I didn't do it.
Is it a trap door somewhere?
I don't know, because I didn't do it. There's no... I have nothing to do with this at all.
The only thing that I can think of is that another option is if you do know who did it, and they were in the house, and you let them out. And you just don't want to say who it was.
Well, I mean, if I let them out, then that would have, showed, though, right? That would.
If you undid the alarm, or if you opened the window and let them out yourself.
Well, I mean, the alarm was set when me and my sister got home, and it was, deactivated.
I know, but I'm saying is,
I understand.
It's not. The thing is that let's just say somebody does manage to get in your house, get to your dad's gun, shoot your mom and your dad, and then run out of the house. Is that person gonna stop? Take the time to write on a paper, leave the gun on the counter, nicely positioned, and then leave? Or are they just going to keep running with the gun in their hand?
Keep running with the gun in their hand.
Exactly. And we don't have that. So we have a gun still in the house. So that's something else that just doesn't line up. And ultimately, what I think is you do know a lot more. Whether it's somebody else in the house, or whether it was you and you lost your cool and things happen. But ultimately, There's with the stuff that he's outlined and the things that we've outlined, there's no way. I mean, we just can't sit here and just allow you to let us think that we think that or we can believe that.
Right.
Because it's not like we have one little thing that we have to work through. There's several things. It's just like the bullet hole in the roof. If that did happen 3 weeks ago, it'll show. Because gunshot residue and all that stuff, when it goes through the floor, all that stuff can be tested. It's going to say whether this gun was shot in the last day, 2 days, last hour, 3 hours. So if that's not true, it's going to be something else to come back and say, hey, you know what? Come to find out that bullet hole was that night, or was 2 hours prior. So again, I hate trying to explain this to you where you understand this is serious. I mean,
no, I understand how serious this is.
And ultimately, I'm honestly telling you that you either know if it was somebody else, you either know who it was, they were in the house, and you let them out. That's one option. Or it's exactly what he said, is it maintained in the house. And it was either you, your sister, your mom, or your dad. There's just not enough time to do all those things. You know, even when somebody breaks into a house and somebody wakes up, they get out of that house in any way, shape, or mean. They're not worried about the alarm going off, because what's done is done. They're just trying to get out. They're not worried about the alarm going off, opening a window, and then closing it and making sure that it was all nice. No, you have a expedited route of escape, okay, because it's done. Normally, you have more precautions going in, not going out, because if you want to break in and do something, you're going to be careful so you can achieve your goal or your objective. But once you achieve your objective, you don't care. You're getting out. Right. You know, and we don't have that. So it kind of shows us everything was there. And like he said, I mean, it's hard for us to sit here knowing the things that we know and to have you tell us the things that you're telling us, knowing that it's just the math isn't adding up. I mean, we're talking about basic math. Okay? I mean, this is a tough scenario. But it goes back, man, this is the time we need to man up and we need to know what happened. If you and Dad got a little sideways today and you lost your cool, whatever it is, because, I mean, we've talked to Grandma and all that stuff, and they've said there's been some issues between you and Dad. It's not.
I mean, it's not, okay, it's not we had issues. It's more of a, like, okay, so I know you guys saw the black little thing on the carpet when you walk upstairs. Yeah, I was like playing with matches and I dropped it. I dropped one and didn't realize it, and I just walked away. And then like the carpet set on fire, and then my dad came and confronted me about it, and I was like, I don't know, because I was like, it's stupid that I was playing with matches. I can't just admit. So I was like, I don't know. I had nothing to do with it. And like, I don't know, like my dad like took that personally. He was like, you like straight up like to my face. So I told him the next day what actually happened, and he was like, you like straight up like to my face, just like lied to me, and like that like it hit home with my dad. But I mean like that day like we talked about it. Like we've been fine. Like me and my dad, whenever we do have problems, like we sit down and we talk about it and we solve it. Yeah. Like then.
But you understand when he confronted you and asked you, had you manned up and had you said, this is what I did. I messed up. I screwed up. It'd been a whole different scenario, wouldn't it?
Right.
He'd looked at you different. The next time something came up and you told him, hey, Dad, this is what happened, you keep that trust. Once trust is lost, it is very hard and sometimes impossible to get back. You know, and that's what we're here, because, you know, ultimately, you know, we talk to prosecutors, we talk to DAs and everything like that, and we're going to say, hey, this is what he laid out. And regardless of the amount of inconsistencies, he still gave us the same statement, which nothing matches. You know, and then let's just say all this, and something comes back. One of the several tests and one of the several things, because they're still out there processing stuff. They're still collecting stuff. You know, there's no stone unturned. You know, so then we go back later and we say, well, all this came back with this, and this. Where are you at?
All the tests, all the, like it. I didn't do it myself. I don't know who did it. I don't know how that person got into our house. I don't know if. I don't even know like if it has something to do with my. I don't know how. I don't know like it could like I don't. I understand that like because my little sister's 12 years old. She obviously like doesn't like. I mean, she may not use a gun, but she doesn't have the ability to walk in my parents' room and shoot both of them.
Well, plus you said she was sleeping.
Yeah, and she was sleeping. And then I understand, like, it makes it seem like, well, you're the only other person. But, I mean, I know it personally has nothing to do with me. And I'm not, like, saying that my dad put a hit out on my mom and the dude, like, went bad and then shot my dad. Like, I'm not saying anything like that. I don't, like...
You're still, there's your exit. There's no exit. Now, just think about this. It's you, your sister, your mom, and your dad. And everything shows us that it was something within the house. Or it was somebody within the house that let the person in and let the person out. Those are your two scenarios. So the next conversation we have to have is going to be your sister with this same conversation. And she's going to say, I was sleeping. And we're going to tell her, well, your brother said he didn't do it, and you're the only other person. So now we're going to start pressing your sister about how this happened. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not fair. It's not right if she's sleeping. But when we know that it either had to be one of those two scenarios, where it was somebody within the house or somebody that was let into the house and let out, or vice versa. But you just don't have the time to have that happen, run out of a house, or stop, make a note, lay the gun out, and then leave in a manner that nobody knows, knowing that somebody was there when you did this. Right. You know, somebody that shoots somebody and knows that somebody's home, they're gone. Because their objective is complete. They want to get away.
All right. Or they're going to come upstairs and deal with you, too.
Exactly.
They know you're there. They're not letting you. They don't want eyewitnesses.
I'm telling, like, I understand this situation does not look good at all for me.
Well, it's not that it doesn't look. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I understand that. But I'm telling. I had nothing to. I didn't get anyone to do it, and I didn't do it. I maybe when my dad wakes up, just talk to him, because it has nothing to do with me.
Let me ask you this: you made an interesting statement a minute ago about when you and your buddy were playing with your dad's gun 3 weeks ago, or whenever it was, 2-3 weeks ago. You said.
He was gone by the time I was playing with it, but like we talked about it. That's like the conversation we had, but I was the one that like.
So you said that you fired it into a pillow. Where's that pillow? What kind of pillow was it?
It's in my closet.
It's in your closet.
Yeah.
Which, like you got like a bunch of doors in your room.
No, the closet. The actual closet. You're gonna see there's an A&M. There's an A&M cover that has like a hole in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you shoot it into a pillow?
Like, I saw that on movies. I thought that, like, stops the bullet. So, like, that's what I did.
Okay. You weren't worried about your parents hearing the gun go off?
They weren't home.
Oh. Okay. Well, let me tell you something interesting tonight. This is something else that you said that you kind of told on yourself a little bit. Because you said when you were playing with the gun 2 or 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, which originally was with your friend and now it's not with your friend.
No, he was there. Like, we had the conversation.
But not when you fired the gun.
Yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't there when I fired the gun.
So, which basically, okay, we won't even get into that yet. But so basically, what you just told me was that you shot into a pillow because you've seen it on movies, and it stops the bullet, or whatever, or it quiets the bullet is what they use it for in movies. Kind of weird, man. Both your parents tonight had pillows over their head before they were shot. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
you see how
like
stuff keeps adding up here?
Okay, like that like. My dad sleep. You can ask anyone who has ever been in a room with my dad. My dad, his entire 42 years of living, he sleeps with a pillow right over his eyes with just his nose and mouth out. And my mom, she sleeps with a pillow right here. She sleeps with a pillow right here, and it folds over her head, and she can see clearly out. I know how my parents sleep. I know exactly how.
Well, the pillow wasn't folded over your mom's head.
Oh, wasn't it?
No.
No. Well, that's how she normally.
But do you see how convenient that is? You see what I'm saying? And every time I present you with something, you're trying to explain it away in a way to make it seem like we're making connections here, Antonio, and that's the problem. Why do we have, you're explaining away around that you shot through the floor 2 or 3 weeks ago when we've got fresh sheetrock on the ground and we've got a round still laying on the ground. Your parents use that room constantly. They're going to notice. If your dad's going to notice the burn on the carpet, he's going to notice.
That's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense, because it wasn't in this past. I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the past week. If it wasn't this week, then it was last week. And I've told you guys everything. Y'all, all the tests you guys run.
I know.
We'll come back with it has nothing to do with me. And I don't know what else I need to say. I know it doesn't look good. I don't know what else I need to say to let you guys know that I didn't do. I had nothing to do with
Antonio. Yeah, Antonio. Ultimately, if you said, "Hey, I had nothing to do with it," but hey, my buddy was over, or this is what happened. Now, then, okay. Well, what happened? Well, he came over. This happened. I got scared. I let him out the house. But we want to know who this is, so we can talk to him, because we want to know what happened. If that was the conversation, then we would have answers to our inconsistencies.
Yeah.
But having no way, I can't emphasize. Look, I'm a parent. I'm a dad. My daughter's a day younger than you.
Yeah.
Okay? So, literally a day. 1 day. Okay? So, I know how things are, and I know how things could be. So ultimately, if something is impossible, I have to figure out, or we have to figure out, how is it possible? And right now, we don't have a possible because the entire house is locked up.
I don't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it because I know it has nothing to do with me. It may be someone else. But I know it has absolutely nothing to do with me.
But how does that person get out of the house?
I don't know. Like, why? I'm not saying you, but like, I don't know why everyone is assuming that I'm the person that let them in and let them out, and like I had something to do because I'm the only person that was up. That I automatically.
No, you have to understand. I told you there's two scenarios.
Yeah, I understand.
There's two scenarios,
but I had nothing to do with it.
Well, there's three. There's three scenarios. One scenario is two scenarios. The one has a double to it. The one scenario is there was somebody in the house, and it was either you or your sister. Okay, those are the only two people that could have done that in the house. And laid everything out and did everything to where there would be no escape, which we don't have a way somebody left. The other option is somebody let somebody in. And who are the only two people that can let somebody in or out? It's you. Your sister's asleep. So if it wasn't you, it was your sister. So again, if we got to sit down with your sister, bring her in, and talk to her the way we're talking to you, because it had to be one of those scenarios. There's no other scenario. It's not like you're telling me something that helps explain something. You're not giving me anything to explain. And you have to understand, Antonio, you have to understand.
I'm trying to tell you that this has absolutely nothing. I would never try and kill my parents or get someone to kill my parents. So this has nothing to do with
Antonio.
me.
Okay. When you called 911, you were very calm on the phone. Your parents had both been shot, and you're very calm on the phone. That's not normal. That's not a normal scenario.
Not been, you can ask the police that have been. I'm just like, I was crying, but my brother calmed me down, and I was bawling, crying, coming out of the house.
I understand that. I'm talking about when you called 911 when this incident happened. I'm not talking about down afterwards, several minutes after your brother showed up.
So I didn't really know what happened. I didn't know if they were actually dead. I didn't know if I genuinely just didn't know what happened. And I've tried to explain that I had nothing to do with this, and I guess I'm just gonna have to wait till all the tests come back to prove that I had nothing to do with this.
But you knew something bad happened.
Yeah, but I had nothing to do with it. And I guess when the all the tests are gonna have to come back and prove that AJ had nothing to do with this, and that's how it's gonna go. Because clearly my story isn't matching up with what was shown, so we're just gonna have to wait till everything comes back to show that I didn't do it.
It's not even so much the tests. Because the thing is, it's not even so much the test.
Okay, so what happens when the tests come back and I had nothing to do with it?
But it's not just the test.
No, I'm just asking. No,
it still
what happens
doesn't answer.
then?
The tests don't answer all the questions.
But when you figure out I don't have gunpowder residue on my hand,
what if you had gloves on? What I'm telling you is the tests can help us, and they cannot help us. But ultimately, we have issues that we can't get around. It's like saying that I got to go downtown and it's 30 minutes away, but I get there in 5 minutes. How is that possible? Well, I just got there in 5 minutes. Well, how is that possible? I just got there in 5 minutes. Now, if you say, well, I caught a helicopter and I flew there and I got dropped off and it took 5 minutes. Okay, well, that makes sense. Where's the helicopter? Here's the helicopter. Talk to the helicopter. Yeah, we picked him up, we dropped him off, took 5 minutes. Okay, great. But when we call the helicopter and they're like, we don't do that. Or there's no way that you got there in 5 minutes. There's possible and there's impossible. You understand? And that's where I have a feeling that you have a guard up, where you have to understand this. There's just so much that doesn't match, and I'm trying to explain this to you now.
I understand, and I understand this looks like. I understand how you're saying it looks impossible. But I'm telling you, even though it looks impossible, I had nothing to do with it, and I honestly don't know what else to say. So we might as well just end this interview because I don't know what else. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Where's your Xbox at?
My brother's house.
Okay. How long ago was the carpet burned?
That was Tuesday.
Okay. All right. What'd y'all put it out with? What did Dad put it out with?
That blue pillow that's right there.
You put out the pillow?
Yeah.
Did you spill anything on the floor before?
No, I didn't spill anything on the
matches?
floor. That's the thing that was like confusing to me. I didn't spill anything on the floor.
What's the bottle of rubbing alcohol that's empty in your bedroom?
I don't know.
I'm just asking because the other investigator that was out there says that the floor right there smells like accelerant, which is like some type of
I know, like gas or something like that. Yeah, right. That's what me and my dad, when like it happened, we both said that it like smelled like gas somewhere and we didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah.
But we don't have any gas at the house. So.
Well, I mean, it could be rubbing alcohol. That's why I'm asking, because that easily lights.
I know that rubbing alcohol was from my dad's room, and I took it from his room.
What'd you take it for?
Because I needed it.
I talked to one of your family members today. I don't even remember which one told me about it. They said that you recently got in trouble with your pop.
Yeah, it was the carpet.
They said you got caught with drugs too.
Oh, that was a really long time ago. That was like, I'd probably say like 6 months ago.
Okay.
It was during the school year. It was like after Christmas break.
Yeah. How'd your dad feel about that?
I mean, like, he didn't like really react. Like, it was kind of a why, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I just did it, and then they just took it and threw it away.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Just hold tight.
Hang tight for a minute, man.
Wait, where am I going after this? Actually,
just hold tight.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotta make some phone calls real quick. Just a minute.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and press the notification bell. Additionally, you can view our playlists and most recent videos. Thank you for watching.